All right, what's going on, my friends? Fifth quarter. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt with you following a gut punch of a game tonight at Moda Center as Jamal Murray hits a three with 0.9 seconds remaining, and the Nuggets get the win 121-120. But I'll say this about the game. It was a sensational basketball game. In fact, just give me Denver and Portland every night, and I'm good. I need more basketball games like that in my life, but I think you're going to find out tonight, and I really loved it. We'll hear from Chauncey Billups a little bit later in the program. It's the first time in his tenure as Trailblazers head coach that I've really heard him express frustration and show obvious irritation at his team's lack of execution down the stretch with the way they handled and kind of bungled the last minute of that ball game, especially with the defense at the end of the game. You're up by 2. The only thing that can beat you in that spot is a three, and Jamal Murray was able to shake Jeremy Grant and knock it down. And the one thing we've seen throughout the course of the season, while Jeremy Grant has been nothing short of sensational for the Blazers so far this year, he's not the best at defending guards on the perimeter. And that showed up once again in that final sequence where Jamal Murray hit the three, and that won the game. And so I don't know if maybe you use Josh Hart or a different person in that spot, but maybe Jeremy Grant's not the best option. And clearly having a healthy Gary Payton II available would certainly be helpful too, because that gives you another option to be able to defend the perimeter in that spot. But the fourth quarter was won by the Nuggets. They outscored Portland 32-21. And Jamal Murray, who finished the night with 21 points, including that go-ahead three with 0.9 remaining, 14 of his 21 in the fourth, and he knocked down 3 of 5 from the field. And that fourth quarter was tough. The defense, the execution wasn't there. The Nuggets were able to make big shot after big shot, and they got the victory. But in that fourth quarter, it was frustrating because Portland, after really controlling the game through the first 3 quarters, just couldn't get over the hump there in the fourth, as the Nuggets really found a way to get it done. They were 5 of 8 as a team from 3 of those coming from Jamal Murray, and they shot 48% from the floor in that quarter. And Portland just 21 points, 38% shooting, only 3 of 8 from downtown, and the only guy on offense that had a pulse was Dame, who had 14 points. And the loss is really bitter because it spoils a fantastic night from Dame, who finished with 40 points and 12 assists, and he was 9 of 17 from three-point range. And I said going into the game that, you get 3 days off. You won the first 2 games in December. Your legs are fresh. You had chances to really work and focus on things in practice, and to have it fall apart there in the fourth the way it did is very frustrating. Really no excuses. I know you're going to have games like this, and you'll have moments like this, and you got to bounce back from it, but this is a game where the Nuggets came in, they were struggling. You had all the rest, all the preparation time, and you let it slip through your fingers. All right, 121-120 is the final fifth quarter. Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt. My man is here, Burkhardt. What a game. Great game, but it was spoiled at the very end because of that three from Jamal Murray. What was your take on what you saw tonight?
You know what? I regret the pregame show where I was like, this is one of those games that you can lose by 2, 3, 4 points. But as long as you play well, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Not this one because you played well and then you lost in like the one way you don't want to lose. It's like, hey, don't let them get a 3, and then you let them get a 3. And I'm just going to echo what you said. I actually love that Coach Billups was PO'd in that post-game press conference. He showed the emotion all the time, man. And the team hears that too.
Yeah, there were a number of different guys who played well tonight too. I thought Yusuf Nurkic played one of his better games of the season in 31 minutes, had 21 points, and was effective. 9 rebounds, and had a couple of assists. He was 9 of 10 from the floor. He was very effective tonight. Dame, obviously, awesome, 40 points and 12 assists, 9 of 17 from three-point range. But the Nuggets, they dominated the paint with a 64-46 edge, and they had a monster edge, 22-9 in second chance points. And, those opportunities that they were able to create for themselves, especially late in the game, was brutal. Brutal. Tough loss tonight. great game, sensational game, and some great individual performances, but not what you would hope for with the way they had played through three quarters. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. And Chris is right. Chauncey Billups was heated after the game. Heated, which is good. I like to hear that emotion from the coach. And he should be ticked off. Better execution in the final moments would have gotten you the win. But breakdowns defensively, a couple of costly turnovers, and the Nuggets, they're just one of those teams where they capitalize off your mistakes. And that's what they were able to do tonight. Nikola Jokic is awesome. He had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Jamal Murray had 21, and they got 20 from Aaron Gordon. They're a deep team. They're talented. And Jokic is just a smart basketball player that makes very good decisions on the floor. Let's go out to the phones. We'll start with Ken in Vancouver. Ken, welcome to the fifth quarter, my friend. Fire away.
This is a tough one, Chad. My best friend lives in Denver, and I lived there many years. And the one thing, we love each other, but we do not like losing to each other. I had a bad feeling about today, mainly because we had the rest, we had the great practice. The main thing is that Denver was coming off a losing streak, and that worried me. And but I'll tell you. I was shocked once we got that nice lead at the end of the third quarter. I was shocked that everything just fell apart with that second unit. I haven't seen them play that bad against anybody this year, where it just looked discombobulated. It wasn't smooth, and it wasn't like Jokic was out there leading that, the surge back or whatever. And they let Murray find his shot. He was not hitting shots until that point. And to me, that changed the game because they allowed him to get a rhythm.
Yeah, you're right about one thing. The bench got smoked tonight. They didn't play well. And especially there in the fourth quarter when they allowed the Nuggets to get back into the game, they didn't play well. They didn't execute. And that was part of the issue tonight. And it's going to continue to be an issue because there are individuals on the bench who have played well, but they really lack a scoring punch off the bench, and it's a problem. It's an issue.
Yeah, the thing that was weird tonight is, and Grant have been so special this year, but you don't expect both of them to have just a really mediocre shooting night together on the same night. You can't have those games against a caliber team like the Nuggets. I will say this about the last play on defense first, and then on offense. On defense, no doubt, you don't give up the three. You allow them to hit a lay-in, fine, but we're not giving you a three. That was numbskull city. And on that, you know what? I'd rather have Dame just go back to the half-court line and shoot the ball than try some cockamamie lob to the hoop with .9. I just don't get that at all. I did not like the last play call.
Well,
thanks, Chad.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw where I think Winslow was inbounding the ball there. Dame had flashed open for a moment, but Winslow wasn't looking his direction and was unable to cash in. All right, you can also check us out on YouTube. Chris is double duty producing right now, so if you want, we've tweeted out the link. You can also go to YouTube, pull up the Rip City Radio page, click to subscribe, but you can hit the live link and check us out here in studio in high def, right, Chris? High def, Chris and Chad.
You know it. High def enough that Ralph likes to call in and pick on my haircut. That's how crisp we look.
Let's go out to the phones again. Let's go to Katie and Susie who are chiming in. Katie and Susie, welcome to the fifth quarter. What's up?
Hey, welcome. So I called in before. My mom's the one that's had season tickets for 52 out of the 53 years. She's here with me, and she brought up a very good point that I don't think anybody's thought about. Mom, want to tell them? Okay, we had one foul. We had fouls to give with the 8.8 seconds to go before that. And when they threw the ball in, first of all, they threw it to Jokic, so they should have fouled him immediately, got the first foul in the last 2 minutes, and then they would have had to take it out of bounds again, and we could have fouled him and not let him make that 3-point shot. You don't give him a 3-point shot.
Yeah, I
It would
agree.
have changed the whole flow of the game, Chad, at that point, because a foul, it would have just changed everything. They would have had to inbound it again at that point, and they probably would have been further out. They may have only made it 2, or they may not have made it. It would have gone overtime, or we would have won.
It's a great
So
point.
they blew it.
Yeah, that's part of the
They blew
execution
it.
down the stretch. They blew it. They had every opportunity to win that game, and they didn't close it out. And I think you're right. You could have used a foul there, had them reset, and you probably avoid having the side clear out for Jamal where he gets the 3.
Yep, right, exactly. Exactly. That was a coaching mistake, I think, tonight. I like Chauncey, but I think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the other thing that I saw too, poor Ant. I mean, he struggled, and with his 2 offensive fouls he got in the stretch there, a few plays before that, they gave it to him under the basket, and instead of him taking it, he tossed it over to Josh that was going full momentum forward, and then right in front of us, Josh's foot went right out of bounds, and that was the turnover right there that also killed us. Those 2 plays.
Oh, that was. I thought for sure when I saw the ball
heartbreak.
get into the front court, I thought for sure they were going to score there. And, he slid out of bounds, and that turnover was costly because if you get points there, the chances of the Nuggets being able to overcome that are going to be pretty tough in that spot. Oh.
Yeah, and I think our regular Ant would have just taken that layup right there. Instead, he passed it to Josh, and Josh's momentum was just too much. He couldn't stop. So.
Now, you guys are at the arena, so take the loss out of it for a moment. Sensational game. How was the atmosphere tonight?
Oh, freaking incredible.
It was fun. The crowd was crazy.
I told Mom when we were walking to the car, I was like, God, I'm exhausted. I had a cardio workout because I was up just cheering the entire time. And, yeah.
Yeah, it's
It was
disappointing.
Good game. Too bad.
Yeah, I really thought with the extra rest going into the game and the practice time, I was very confident that they were going to get a win tonight. It was looking so good through 3 quarters, and to have it fall apart there in the 4th, very frustrating because they had so many guys. It spoiled a lot of great individual performances, 40 and 12 from Dame, and Nurk played one of his best games of the year with 21 points, 9 boards, and made 9 of his 10 shots.
Yeah.
And poor Ant just had an off night tonight, so he'll come back Saturday.
And then, like you guys said, Jeremy was great in the first half, but second half, he just wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah, what we've noticed with Jeremy Grant, like he's been terrific this year, but in those spots on the perimeter defending the smaller guard, he struggled in spots trying to do that, and maybe it would have been better to have Hart, on Murray in that spot because he's smaller and maybe able to be a little bit more mobile. But it certainly will be helpful when Gary Payton II makes his debut, so you can have him on the floor in those situations defensively.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Yeah. Jeremy Grant, I've noticed, is better under the basket because his arms are so long and he's right there. But once somebody's out by the 3-point line, he gives them too much room, and that's what he did with Jamal, and Jamal just took it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Katie and Susie, you guys are awesome, man. So that Josh Hart turnover happened on your end of the floor because you guys are close to the basket.
Yep.
That was on your side?
Right in front of us. And your foot just barely went out. We're like, stop!
Oh, no. Stop! What are you doing?
It was like, in the movies when it's slow motion and you see it happening.
Oh, well, you guys will be there for Saturday's game against Minnesota?
Oh, yeah, we will.
Oh, yeah, we'll be there.
All right. The next 2 games against Minnesota, great opportunity to bounce back at home. So let's hope the Blazers go out there and get it right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Thanks,
Take care,
Chad.
Chad.
All right. You guys are awesome. There's Katie and Susie. Little tandem call there. I love that. Let's go back out to the phones. Drew, welcome to the 5th quarter, buddy. Fire away.
Well, Chad, I was at the game tonight too, and I just thought that unit they had to start the 4th quarter was abysmal. They didn't come in. They didn't come in with the intensity that they needed to hold the lead. It's like they didn't live up to the moment. And to me, I've never seen Lillard shoot the ball so well in a big game like that at home. It's been forever since he's shot the ball that well in a big game without McCollum, right? without McCollum there, learning to play with Ant. And the guy was just torching him. And I was positive we were going to win that game. And I said, they're going to go to Murray for 3. I knew that they were going to go to Murray for 3. And I thought Grant gave him way too much space. But I don't know what he was concerned about. I really don't know how it went down the way that it did. But I had a friend who was at the game with me who's kind of a basketball kind of an amateur. They were getting new into the Blazers. And after the game, they said, if the Nuggets are the 4th best team and we played that good against them, we're going to have a great season. And I thought that meant something, because I thought we were terrific tonight. And it's just it was luck. It was just a second of bad luck that cost us the game. A couple seconds of bad luck.
What's
and
amazing
a bad
too?
fourth quarter lineup.
Yeah, that second unit gave up I think it was a 14-2 run in just over 3 minutes of game action. That was brutal.
Yeah. And they didn't go fight for the rebounds where they were supposed to. They were just kind of standing there being lethargic. And I was saying, we don't need another close game at home, right? Let's just hold this lead in the fourth quarter. Let's have an 8-9 point lead with 4 minutes left. But it just, you can't do that against the Nuggets because Jokic and Murray are a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
They're an incredible 1-2 punch. And they got us. They got us tonight. But Lillard was terrific this evening. And it's superb. Well, one of his best performances, one of his best offensive, but one of his best games.
Yeah,
and that's how we lost it.
Yeah,
but,
what's great too, Drew? Not only did he shoot the ball well, but the 12 assists, like he was getting multiple people involved. Dame was sensational tonight. These are the games that are irritating. Let's go out to Josh Baker. Hey, Josh, what's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Yeah, that was a sensational game, but a gut punch at the end, man. Just a tough one to stomach with the way they played through 3 quarters, and to have it fall apart in the fourth was that's going to be a tough one to swallow. Ugh.
No joke, man. That makes me excited because one of my TikTok followers, he bought me a ticket for Denver on the 23rd.
Oh, you're going to be
there?
So
I just booked it. I just booked it tonight, and I'm going to be there for the 23rd. Let's get some revenge, my friend.
Hey, dude, how nice is it to have this extra time where you're not working to where you can go out and have a chance to travel around a little bit, man? Nice work.
No joke. I can't say it's ideal, but I'm seeing it through, rose-colored glasses, and I'm happy about it because I found out today my shoulder is not a tear. I have a severe pull.
Oh, good.
So nothing, no surgery, just, a couple months of rehab, and then I'll be back to work. So I'm going to take this time, a couple trips, and it's going to be, my shoulder will be better. I'll be back to work. And, life is good.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think the 2 callers ago, they hit it on the head that you can do things multiple ways. How we did that last 8.8 seconds, they're going to learn from this. They're going to go back and hopefully down the stretch of the season, during playoffs, I'm saying the playoffs, they're going to learn from this 8.8 seconds and do everything, the correct ways moving forward. I was so hopeful, probably like everyone in the arena, that 0.9 seconds could be, remade. We all remember Dame's 0.9 second shot. I was getting goosebumps thinking that could be redone again.
Yeah, anytime there's 0.9 on the clock and, you got Dame, I think all of our minds go back to that. But we'll hear from Chauncey coming up. But, man, it was nice. Dude, I love hearing Chauncey, like, Chris, he wasn't even sugarcoating it. He was just flat out pissed. Love it.
I do love it. Don't hold anything back, man. No coach speak right there. No, at least media coach speak, right? Give it to us honest.
All right, well, we'll come back, and we'll hear from Coach Billups. You'll want to hear this. I haven't heard him like this. I don't think I've ever heard him like this after a game. Have you? No, I don't think so. Have you, Chris?
I haven't.
No. This is Chauncey like we've never heard him before, and I love it. So we'll hear from Chauncey when we come back. Brutal loss at the buzzer. 121 to 120. Jamal Murray with the go-ahead three with .9 remaining, and the Nuggets get a close win, 121 to 120. Fifth quarter, Chad Doing, Chris Burkhart with you. You can join us live on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, pull up the Rip City Radio page, and you'll see the live link right there. Click to subscribe, and you can check us out in studio. It's the fifth quarter here on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, got a surprise phone call from Travis Demers during the commercial break. He confirmed what I thought. That was one of the more poorly officiated games that we've seen throughout the course of the season. But as I warn you about every game, you don't need to get too frustrated or waste too much energy worrying about the officiating. Just know what I know. It's going to be bad every night. And if you go in understanding that, you won't lose your mind when you have no idea what they're doing out there. Wow. All right. We want you to hear Chauncey Billups. This is by far the most bitter I have ever heard him in regards to his team. And I love that he's calling them out because they did not get the job done in a variety of different ways late in the game, especially in the fourth. The bench got torched. Josh Hart made a couple of mistakes. Jeremy Grant's defense on the final possession was poor. Billups probably made a couple of mistakes himself. But let's take a listen to Coach Billups following the Blazers' 1-point loss to Denver.
I thought we was in pretty good control. And then we had a bad start to the fourth quarter again, which was unfortunate, but it was nip and tuck the whole way. And, Jamal Murray hit a hell of a shot, and Dame hit some great shots to keep us in it. But it was just, it was tough down the stretch.
Johnson, it's 121-120. Defensively, are you frustrated with that game, or is that just good shot making for 6 minutes?
It was really good shot making, but I am frustrated. We didn't execute the way we needed to in the last few minutes, but more in particular the 8 seconds.
What did you think of the execution on your last play? 0 point out is not a whole lot of time to get something off of it.
We turned the ball over. So what can I think? It's poor execution.
What do you think about the defense on Murray on that play? Was that handled well? Was it just Murray hitting a good shot?
No, it wasn't handled well at all. We up 2. Last shot you can give up is a 3. 2 don't beat us. We go in overtime. No big deal. You give up a 3-point shot. No, it's terrible.
So you felt they played off of too much, should be more aggressive? Obviously.
It was terrible.
Obviously, you don't like to drop a game here, but Nurk probably had his most complete game of the season. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, yeah, that's fine, but it don't mean nothing. We lost the game. I don't care about stats and none of that. None of that stuff matters, man. We didn't execute well enough to win the game. I don't care who played well. That don't matter to me.
Is it more disappointing as well, given you had practice yesterday, you had some time off, and trying to fix things defensively, and it sounds like guys are not executing the way you want?
No, it wasn't. I don't really. That's not a big deal. You're gonna get into some. That's an incredible offensive team. So they're gonna put pressure on you and stretch the defense. They're gonna do a lot of different things. But with all of that being said, and if you're in a good position, we have to lose the game executing what we said we was gonna do. And if we execute and we lose, tip your hat and you go. You don't execute and you lose, you're disappointed, and I'm pretty sure all of our guys in there feel the same way.
So just to clarify, in the timeout before they ran that play, I'm guessing you said, hey, we can't give them 3 here.
Of course.
Well, okay, so
Of course.
And then after the game, was that kind of the discussion with the team after? Do you not touch that after that happens?
Well, yeah, you obviously you're up 2 points, 8 seconds. There's only one shot that can kill you, man. Literally. Don't give up an and 1, and don't give up a 3. Okay? And, we just failed to do that, when we had plenty of opportunities there to execute what we said we was going to execute in the timeout.
Well, I love everything about that. Coach Billups showing some emotion there. And he was so unlike anything we've seen from him before that you could hear it from the media that was in the press conference. A little quiet. You ask a question. Billups is bitter. And then that weird pause like, should I follow up here? What should the approach be?
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop a couple times.
I can understand why he's ticked off. The bench gave up a 14-2 run in like just over 3 minutes of action.
Mm-hmm.
The execution down the stretch wasn't obviously what he wanted. And you lose a game that you probably should have won. Those are tough ones to swallow.
I think he should be mad. I mean, the callers so far tonight and what you're seeing on the chat on YouTube and Twitter, gut punch, punch to the stomach, everything. That one just hurt. And I think he kind of showed that in his post-game presser too. Like he's feeling that same, wind knocked out of you the fans are, because that was a game against a very good team that they let get away. Like Portland beat themselves there late in the end, and that's where that one sucks.
Are you okay with Jeremy Grant guarding Murray in that spot? I mean, you technically have your best defender on Murray, who hit the big shot to give Denver the win, but in that spot on the perimeter, it probably isn't Grant's strength either.
Yeah, I'm okay with it to the fact that, he's kind of been put in that position a few times this year. However, I would have read the game, and I actually would have liked Hart on him because Hart's defense all game long was phenomenal. He forced many a bad pass, many a turnover. Even if it wasn't, he who got the turnover, he forced a bad pass that someone else got. So I would have put him on the primary ball handler in that situation. Let Grant use his length and his ability to close out to maybe get to wherever the ball's going to go if Murray has to pass out.
Man, Murray, gosh, he hit some big shots down the stretch too. And tough night for Ant. Only made 3 shots. Didn't shoot well. Had some miscues out there. Did hit a big shot late with under a minute to give Portland the lead for a moment. So I'm sure he'll look to bounce back Saturday against Minnesota, but a tough night for Ant.
Yeah.
Nurk played well. I mean, Nurk was sensational tonight. Dame was unbelievable.
Like in the movie The Water Boy, the coach starts he said that the water's not good or whatever, and it gets old Bobby Boucher all going.
Oh, yeah.
And then he gets mad at the coach, so he starts imagining the coach's head on other play. Nurk needs to somehow imagine that every single game, there are 5 Nikola Jokic's on the court and nothing but Denver Nuggets jersey. He just plays different when it's against the Nugs, man.
He holds a grudge against them.
Totally does.
And I love it. After all this time, he's still very bitter at Mike Malone, and he hates Jokic because they chose him over him. That's all.
Yeah.
He's always played his best basketball against that team, which is weird because Jokic is not an easy matchup. He was awesome tonight. 33 points, 10 boards, 9 assists.
He was great.
He's a freak.
But Nurkic did a pretty good job, not completely matching that stat line, but, going to battle with him for sure.
Oh, he was good tonight. Nurk was great. Bench, brutal. Nuggets dominated the paint, and they had a big edge in second chance points. All right, we'll keep things rolling on the show. We'll come back and continue to break this down. And also, I got some details on the whole video deal that was edited and then put back up by the Blazers in regards to GP2. So I'll share the theory that I heard, and we'll see what Burkhardt thinks. 503-248-0620. Nuggets get the win tonight, 121-120. Portland will be back in action Saturday at Moda Center with Minnesota in town for the first of 2 against the Timberwolves on Saturday and Monday. 503-248-0620. You got the 5th quarter. All right, we're going to hear from Damian Lillard here in a couple of moments. Telephone number 503-248-0620. It's the fifth quarter right here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. But let's get to the shot of the night.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab. Always sounds good for dinner.
Blazers in the front court, 1-on-4 now. Grant's got it. Worked his way to the low post. He's got Murray on his back. Throws it up top for Eubanks. Eubanks, three on the way. Got it! Drew Eubanks, his first three of the season.
How about Eubanks with the three? And Burkhardt, I think you told me that that's his first three of the year and only the ninth made three in his entire career.
That's what I found on B-Ball Ref. He had made 8 up until this point.
Dude, you and I were watching it when he made that shot, and we looked at each other like, what? No way. Eubanks with confidence stepping up to knock down the triple.
We totally... Because you could tell he was going to shoot by the base, by the way his feet were planted as soon as he caught the ball. And you and I did. We both looked at each other. We were like, I mean, there was like a what? Like both of us. And then he made that. I was like, oh, my goodness.
When he made that shot, I think that was the three that gave them a 102-91 lead. And at that point, I was like, dude, Denver is in serious trouble here. That's when the Nuggets went on that ridiculous 14-2 run. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. You got to be better than that.
All right, Dame might have been his best game coming off the procedure that we've seen in quite some time. 40 points, 12 assists, 9 of 17 from three. Sensational play tonight from Dame, and he was a big-time shot maker in the fourth quarter. But let's take a listen to his thoughts following the Blazers' loss.
Obviously, you're not going to be perfect. You know, these are NBA players, so they're going to do things to put us out of position as well. You know, but tonight we just, you know, they took advantage of those moments down the stretch, and he had a tough shot. You know, we still had a chance, and he had a tough shot to win it. But there were other things before that we could have done to, you know, not be in that situation.
Chauncey seemed especially mad, though, about giving up a three-pointer on that play.
I mean, it happens. You know, I think when you're guarding a good scorer, you naturally get in the mind frame of just like you just guarding them normal. And that is a play where we got to be better, you know. Jeremy's been guarding these guys all season long, so he's trying to stop them from penetrating and whatever. But, you know, in that situation, up to, you know, you don't want to give up a three and you don't want to give up an and one, and he just made a good play, you know, and we got to come back and, you know, the next time that situation comes up, you know, we got to be better about it because that could have been any of us, you know, especially, you know, us having a foul to give. So, like I said, it happens, and there was a lot of things that played a part in us coming up short before that play even happened. So,
what was the play that you guys drew up at with the .9 left?
It was a Nurk screened away from me. I was coming to the ball, and then somebody pinned Ant to the corner. I think Jeremy screened Ant to the corner, and then there was another screen for Jeremy supposed to be going to the rim for a lob. You know, but those plays are always tough when it's under a second.
There's Dame following the Blazers' loss tonight. Final score 121-120 as the Nuggets get the victory, and now Portland has to get back to the drawing board and get ready for Minnesota. They'll be in town on Saturday, and they also have a game against the Timberwolves on Monday. And with the loss, Portland now 13-12 on the year. That snaps their mini 2-game winning streak. And now you got to get back after it. And this is a month where you don't want to drop too many games that you lead by 10 after three quarters because the schedule lightens up nicely for Portland now. You got to capitalize and cash in on your opportunities. And tonight was one of those. I know Denver's a good team, but you had plenty of rest and preparation time for the game, and they couldn't hold on and get the job done. Very, very frustrating. Ugh. All right, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Well, how should we read this, Burkhardt? You know, it's a tough loss, but it's only December. Coach is very upset, but it's too early in the season to get too irritated. You just got to bounce back and keep things rolling. Yeah, I really thought they were going to win tonight. Very confident in the Blazers going into this game. I thought with the practice time, the chance to tighten some things up, I thought through 3 quarters early, the ball was humming. They were moving the basketball. Multiple guys were involved. I liked a lot of the different things I saw out there on the floor. And then that fourth quarter, the combination of the bench getting ripped there to start the fourth. The officiating was poor, but the execution down the stretch just not there. Too bad. Too bad. Oh, my goodness. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620. Let's go out to Charlie in Vancouver. Charlie, welcome to the fifth quarter. What you got, buddy?
Hey, just got the grandson down, so if I'm repeating what somebody's already said, I apologize. But, man, I was frustrated in the fact that he let him we didn't make him put the ball on the floor. You're told as a player, get up in his grill, so he absolutely has to put the ball on the floor. You're in control as a defender. You can make them do what you don't want, what they don't want to do. Now, they're going to have a free go to the hole. Well, but that's what you want. And I didn't know we had a foul to give. Are you kidding me? Then you get in his grill, and as soon as he puts the ball on the floor once, foul him. Just terrible, terrible end-of-game execution. Honestly, though, I bet they talked about it. And as a coach, I've been there. We've talked about stuff in timeouts. You can't just talk about it. You have to have done it in practice over and over and over. Okay, here's what we do. When we have a foul to give and there's blank, blank, here's when you give that foul. If it's 3-point, da-da-da-da-da-da, over and over again so that everybody, it doesn't even have to be told at that time. It's, okay, end of game, we're up 3, you know what to do, boom. So I will say, share Chauncey's frustration, but I'll bet you he overcoaches that for the rest of his life, and they work on that, and he'll be a better coach because of it.
Yeah, there's no question. That's a good point, Charlie. And don't you think with Billups' irritation after the game that Charlie makes a good point where he very well could have emphasized exactly what he wanted them to do in that final 8 seconds, and then you watch your players not execute the way that you told them to? Like, that's what it feels like to me. Like, we talked about it, and then you go out there and do the exact opposite of what I told you to do.
Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? At least that's what it feels like. I mean, hello, Chauncey knows what to do in that situation without even thinking about it.
Well, just the quote, I love it. It says, when he was asked about that final possession, it wasn't handled well at all. We're up 2. The last shot you can live with is a 3. A 2 don't beat us. We go into overtime, no big deal. We gave up a 3-point shot. It was terrible.
He knows. He knows.
Being a coach would be maddening sometimes because you can only explain yourself and detail it out. You can't go out there and live the possession for them.
Right. At least people always pick on people who didn't play the game, but you look at we always talk about Chip Kelly and Mike Leach, who didn't play college football, but they still coach it. Maybe that's better because you didn't know what it was like to be out there in the trenches during the game. Billups might be gray, but you can't tell me that he couldn't run up the court at least once or twice real quick. So it'd be hard to watch that happen going, oh my gosh, if only I were on the court.
The only thing that saves tonight from being a total disaster is Baker Mayfield having 2 days and not knowing the playbook and still beating the Raiders tonight. That was spectacular.
Was a 97-yard drive with a minute and a half and no timeouts. Unreal.
Was it 97? It might have been 98.
It might have been 99. It was somewhere. It was in the high 90s.
They had a couple of bad penalties on the drive. Oh, that was wild. Oh, my goodness. And I know what you're talking about. I've been reminded this week, Chad, when was the last time you played college football? In my criticism of the Beavers quarterback play in Ben Branson, I know I'm not as good at quarterback as Ben Branson, but I'm not the gold standard. We're not comparing someone's play to me. Jeremy Grant is much better at basketball than I am, that I could ever dream of being, and yet, he just didn't execute. The Blazers did not execute in the fourth quarter. Oh, boy. Great balls of fire. That's what my papa used to say when he would get irritated. Like when was trying to leave the house with colored socks on, wearing shorts, and my Nana was like, Bud, you can't go out like that. You need to change. He would get irritated and say, great balls of fire. Then he'd storm off into the room and change. And that's the way that game was tonight. Let's go out to Eric in Vancouver. Eric, appreciate the phone call. You're up on the fifth quarter. Fire away.
Yeah, of course. So, obviously disappointing loss tonight. But a few observations, just general. It seemed like they came out with a reorientation, a refocus on moving the ball and passing, and they were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Sort of reminded me of the beginning of the year. But then they got sloppy. They went overboard with it. And, some of the fast breaks were out of control, and Hart was a little out of control. And then the second observation is I wish that Trendon Watford and or Keon Johnson could be on the court paired with Shaden Sharp, because they seem to have a flow and a connection that doesn't really exist when Shaden's out on the court with Dame and or Anthony. And then the last observation is it looks like Anthony is laboring, like tired, or maybe there's something wrong with his right foot or right leg. It just doesn't seem to be himself. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. A couple of thoughts there. One, Anthony might be banged up a little bit, but I think, he's been playing big minutes. So a lot of it could be just a little bit of fatigue that's settled in. And in regards to Shaden Sharp, when he's on the floor with Dame and Ant, I think he's still, trying to find his way and not step on any toes, because he's only a teenager. And he's trying to find his way, but, he continues to make strides. And we're seeing that. He got nearly 15 minutes tonight, scored 7 points, was aggressive early. So, the good thing is they're committed to playing Sharp. And he's getting time on the floor. He's getting a chance to adjust. But, that'll come with time. With more encouragement from the coaching staff and from, the vets on the team, he'll learn to be more aggressive. All right, we'll keep things rolling. We'll come back with Drive of the Night and still have some lines open. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And we'll give you a scoreboard report as well. Light night in the association, but the Blazers now with the day off, and they're back at it Saturday night at Moda Center against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Chris Burkhart and Chad doing with you. You have the fifth quarter. All right, 503-248-0620. Rough loss for the Blazers tonight, 121-120 at the hands of the Denver Nuggets. Portland now 13-12. We'll get back to the phones here in a moment, but let's hit you with our drive of the night.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Now to Dame in the corner, steps back. Now he drives on Jokic, scoops it over to Grant. Grant to the rim and slams it down.
All right, let's head back out to the phones. Kiernan is with us. Kiernan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Chad. Hey, how's it going?
Very well. Tough loss tonight, man.
Yes, tough loss. Yes, tough loss. Yes, very disappointing. Yes, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
disappointed because
that they lost.
that was one of those games where, Dame was sensational. I like the way Nurk played, and they were in control of the game through three quarters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nurk played pretty good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought Dame did play. I thought Dame played pretty good too. Yeah.
He did. He played well, and it's a tough one. I thought for sure. I was really confident.
It was a tough one.
Yeah, I was confident going in, Kieran, because I thought with that extra rest time and preparation.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I thought they were going to get the win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so too. Yes.
So when are you going to be back out at Moda Center for a game in person?
I'm not sure yet. I have to look at the schedule. Yeah. It's. Yeah, I don't have any coming up anytime soon.
Well, what did you?
I'd love to have one coming up soon.
No, I hear you on that. So what did you think was the key moment of the game tonight?
The key moment, especially right when it got towards the end. I was listening to the last few minutes, and I thought they were going to pull it off. But yeah.
Yeah, I know it's tough, man. Well, I guess you got to bounce back and get ready for.
Yeah, just got to bounce back and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Well, I tell you what, Kenan, you're the best, man. Go Blazers, and hopefully they'll come out and get a win on Saturday.
All right, sounds good. All right.
You got it, buddy.
All right, thank you, Chad.
All right, there you go. All right, Chris, why don't we go ahead and get an NBA scoreboard report here on the fifth quarter and check out the association.
The fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A-Lene's ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, tonight in Miami, the Heat take out the Clippers 115-110. Miami now 12-14. The Clippers fall to 14-13. Paul George had 29 points in the loss. Bam Adebayo led the Heat with 31 points and 10 rebounds. A battle of bums in the Western Conference in San Antonio. The Spurs are now 7-18 on the year after they topped the Rockets 118-109. Houston now 7-18. And of course, in Denver, the Nuggets improved to 15-10 as they topped the Trailblazers 121-120. Jokic 33 points, 10 boards, 9 assists. Dame with 40 points and 12 assists in the loss. And how good are those guys in Vegas, Chris? Denver was a 1-point favorite tonight, and they win the game by a single point. Good gracious.
Well, we are kind of underselling the fact that 1 point kind of came at the hands of Yusuf Nurkic, Chad. He got called for an illegal screen. His reaction was to throw the ball up into the Moda City rafters. I think it hit Paul Allen's former apartment, and he got a technical for it. The Nuggets turned around, got that 1 point off that technical foul, and then they turned around and won by one.
That was a vintage Nurk play right there, was it not?
It really was. It's one of those you got to keep your cool plays, man. You can't, I get, Josh Hart, I think he got one. He's arguing a little bit. He was tired of some no calls. Frustration, that makes sense. But, better than to just chuck the basketball up into the sky. Come on. You know that the ref's going to call a technical. He can't just let you do that and not call anything. It's not like you're talking to the ref and kind of pushing your limits a little bit, and he gives you the no more. No more. Rasheed Watson. I told him to stop staring at me. He wouldn't stop staring at me. But at least he got a warning, right? It's not like a ref walks up to Nurkic and goes, hey, don't throw that ball up there again. It's just, boom, it's cut and dry.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to do that on a night when he's playing well.
Right.
And just drop the antics. But it's a frustrating game because so many things about the game tonight I liked. 30 assists tonight for the Trailblazers. That's a great number. 40 points, 12 assists from Dame, 21 points, 9 rebounds from Nurk. He was 9 of 10 from the floor. Like, they had a lot of good things going, and they just couldn't get it done. Frustrating.
Yeah. Like I said, that's the tough part. I said if you lose this game but you play well, it's okay. But the way they lost that one there in the last, 30 seconds or so by making a couple knuckleheaded plays, I mean, you hate to find silver lining. There's no such thing as a moral victory, right? I like that coach is mad, but at the same time,
I wish someone would ask him if there was a moral victory tonight.
Right? Is there a moral victory?
It doesn't mean bleep, man.
Yeah.
Did you think that Murray was going to shoot the three when he was mashed up there on Grant?
I didn't. I don't think Grant did either, by the way. He ended up getting that shot, getting a pretty clean look.
Yeah. Murray, like Dame, he's one of those guys not afraid to take the big shot.
No.
Not afraid.
No, and I think he's still even shaking off, obviously, it's been so long, but shaking off the rust of that injury. And, I mean, Nikola Jokic said earlier in the season, yeah, we know we're going to suck for a while. Like, threw him under the bus. But it was honest. Like, he's going to take a while to get that rust off. But when he's good, man, Murray is a fun point guard to watch.
He is. All right, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate your interaction tonight on YouTube and the phone calls tonight. And we're back at it on Saturday with the Minnesota Timberwolves coming to town. Tip-off from Moda Center is at 7. Don't forget tomorrow morning to check out Rip City Mornings with Justin Myers. That gets underway at 6. And then the Rip City Drive with Dwight and I at 3 o'clock. Your final score from Moda Center tonight, the Nuggets top the Trailblazers 121-120. For my man, Chris Burkhart, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends. We'll catch you tomorrow. And don't forget, Saturday, 4:30 game day, 7 o'clock tip against Minnesota.